Hello, YouTube. My name is Jesse Hurt. I'm the person who got second in the Gold Foil Commoner event in Minneapolis with Enigma. Um, Unlike what the blog post listed, I was on Reality Refractor, not Iris of Reality. Reality Refractor costing 2 is very important to my game plan, whereas Iris costing 3 hurt in a couple of the games that I tested it with. So not saying it's bad necessarily, but with how I have the deck built, Reality Refractor is key. Um, so, on to why Reality Refractor is key for the deck. Spectral Manifestations is your best friend. Let's see if we can get this to focus. No, it's not wanting to focus. Oh well. Spectral Manifestations Red reads, create a spectral shield. If you control no other illusionist auras, put 3, 2, or 1 counters on it, pending red, yellow, or blue. Since it costs 2, when you pitch a blue, you'll have 1 resource floating. And oh, Reality Refractor costs 2. But, thanks to Enigma's hero ability, it will cost 1 less. So with that 1 resource, we can swing our Spectral Shield at our opponent for 8, 7, or 6 damage, pending the color of Spectral Manifestation that we just played. This is also very useful for the best piece of equipment for the deck, outside of the weapon, Blossom of Spring. Blossom allows us to block with our entire hand, all of our equipment, even if we have a D-React in Arsenal, that too. And thanks to Blossom of Spring, if we kept this little lovely Spectral Shield around, we can swing it for 5, 6, 7, or even 8 damage, thanks to the Spectral Manifestation giving the counters. On to, I guess, the other pieces of equipment. I chose to run Aqua Seeing Shell for if I saw too many of my no blocks in hand, or occasionally a blue unmovable when your opponent's going with a lot of small attacks, opposed to 1 tall attack. While it's on the stack, you pitch your blue, draw a different card to block with, and then you can cash out Aqua Seeing Shell to block for 1 damage. The other 2 pieces of equipment are just the prevent one. You can run Iron Rod if you want to. Could potentially even run Iron Hide if you want to. I just chose the prevent equipment so that if my opponent, for instance, uses a lunging press, which mattered in 1 game, I can instant prevent the 1 damage instead of losing your president of the Spectral Shield. So, now to when we face a Wizard or Rune Blade. Just all the null rune. That's the game plan. If you're into a Rune Blade, probably keep Blossom around. It's your best piece of equipment. Use your judgment of whether you'd rather have the Pilfer effect from the Aqua Seeing Shell or the prevent effects from the gloves and feet. I never ran into a Rune Blade in testing. Didn't run into one while playing in the 6 rounds of Swiss or in the top 8. So I don't know what's correct. That's up for debate and further testing. So now to the main heavy hitters of the deck. Obviously, we've got the Spectral Manifestation Red, yellows, and blues. Best card in the deck, even at blue. When you pitch your blue, put a counter on your Spectral Shield, swing it for 6. You then have essentially gained a life. So at blue, it's a 2-card 7. At red, it's a 2-card 9 if you value the ward at 1, which for commoner is kind of disgusting. And then if you're able to keep it around by giving 3 cards from your hand, not needing to use anything else, whether it's a red, yellow, or blue, you just pitch it and swing the Spectral Shield again for even more value. uh, yeah, that is how I won many games with this deck. Uh, Now to the other way, so that you can infinitely make your spectral shields. I'm on 3 Transcend cards. Um, I think these two are kind of a must. Preserve Tradition being the best one. Um, please give me my 2 card 9 back again. Thank you. And then on top of that, you can just pitch it to make a spectral shield, and whenever you attack with it, it's 6. Uh, Thanks to Reality Refractor and Enigma giving the +1 counter. Homage, 1 extra life. We're a late game deck. Perfect. Passover, this could be whatever you really want it to be. Um, since we're on so many blues, the go again might be a decent option. Um, I just like to be able to banish things because, I don't know, it's just easy. And it's unconditional. Maybe I should be doing the draw one that allows you to just cycle through your deck faster. I am unsure on that. But those are the 3 I ran with, because then late game, when they're all transcended, on your opponent's turn, you make a spectral shield. On your turn, you make another spectral shield. And then you pitch the 3rd chi to attack for 6. With your 3 blues that you will always have, unless you're facing a new and haven't killed them by this point, um, you're going to be coming in 4/6 and have gained 2 health with the 2 spectral shields. Late game, Enigma with Reality Refractor is disgusting. Um, with a blue 3 block and the 2 Transcend cards, it ends up being a 3 card 11, no, 4 card 11 turn cycle, which isn't great, but when you're in fatigue, that is phenomenal. Which that is what we're trying to do. um, Card that I thought was good but didn't perform very well into the sea of Iras that were there. Waning Vengeance. Into everybody that is not a Kodachi wielding deck. You're able to pitch a blue, play out your Waning Vengeance, have 2 floating, attack for 5, and then ward 3 for the red, 2 for the yellow. And then on top of it, if you happen to be sitting on a blue unmovable in Arsenal or draw into one, when you pitch to play it, prior to using the ward on your Waning Vengeance, you'll make a Spectral Shield. So that has been huge. Um, but also, it did cost me 1 game because I had the ward out I had the Spectral Shield I created from the Waning Vengeance. I wasn't able to get the counters with Spectral Manifestations. So again, I think if I had more time testing this, probably wouldn't be on the Waning Vengeance as well. I would probably consider running some, like, for instance, Red Battlefront Bastions or Raging Onslaught, Wounded Bull, Barraging Dronhide. Just something that I can block with. Uh, and also, if I have to give up my Spectral Shield, return 7 or 8. Um, and then the last kind of bit of red offensive power that I have in this iteration of the deck, Spheres of Surreality. 1 for 5 Phantasm with Go Again. It's amazing if your opponent doesn't have a popper. If your opponent has a popper, you're just sad. Ideally, I was sitting on a sink so that when I saw this card, I could tug it to the bottom. So that second cycle, if I've protected my president and was able to keep 2 cards in hand, one being the Spears and one being a blue to pitch for both the Spectral Shield and the Spears, I would have at the lowest, 2 card 10 with no counters, highest, 2 card 13 with 3 counters on the Spectral Shield. And then the start of the defensive package, Oasis Respite, was really only running it into Icelander, which I saw one, but it was a local, and he wanted to do sealed rather than face me on this deck, because we did it with he was on a different deck, not Icelander, for Commoner, and it just did not go well. He's like, I don't want to go through another fatigue game with you, man. So I totally understand. If you want to make friends on that note, don't play this deck. It's very toxic. You thought Iroh was bad. Fatigue some Iras with this deck, and you will see the salt just spew out of your opponent. Um, so, on to the defensive stuff. 2 sinks, 2 fates, 2 springboard somersaults, which is similar. If it's in Arsenal, it's another block 4. And then 2 blue unmovables. I thought about running a red unmovable potentially for the odd Azalea or for the Guardian matchup. But for the Guardian matchup, you don't need them. You're fine. Even if they bring in Sledge, their Sledge swings for 6. Your Sledge also swings for 6, but only for 1 card. Um, and I don't know. It's just disgusting. If you end up getting a red spectral out, you're swinging for 8 every turn into them, and unless they're on pummels and zealouses, they're not ever going to clear it. So you just give 9 and equipment if needed, swing 8, and the game just slowly but surely ends. Um, Again, if you don't want to make friends, play this deck. If you want to make friends, I'd recommend against it. LSS, you should probably ban this card for Commoner. Um, On to now the other reason why Icelanders hate me. The rest of the deck's blues. Um, and yes, that is a titanium bauble. Uh, it is there in case I face an overpower deck. That's it. It's a blue block 3 that gets around overpower. Also, for what's it called? Kasai's weapons, it doesn't pump them. Which, on that note, we were also running a single minded determination, the new illusionist aura that costs 2 with ward 2, and 2 vengeful apparition. Uh, has ward 1, no cost. Both are block 3s. Um, Now on to the non-phantasm attacks that block 3. We've got Brutal Assault Blue and Raging Onslaught Blue because they're just high stats if you're attacking with them. Um, I think I went overkill on the blues. I just wanted to make sure I didn't lose to an Icelander. I knew I wasn't going to lose to Guardians, so I sacked a little bit on the aggressive matchup because it is one of the worst matchups for you. After playing this weekend into all of the IRAs, I realized I probably could get away with running more reds, and maybe some of those losses would have turned into wins. But again, that'll only come from playtesting. And now on to the Phantasms. We've got 2 for 6 Phantasm Enigma Chimera, 3 for 6 Phantasm, Phantasmal Haze. If it's popped, make a Spectral Shield. 3 for 6 Phantasm Spectral Rider. If you have your Spectral Shield, you could potentially close a game with it because of the overpower. That's how I beat a dash. I took the gamble rather than sending in my blank Spectral Shield for 5 when they were at 4, I believe. No, they were at 3, where they could just give me a card and then crack back with their loaded gun. I forget the name of the gun. I just went for the 6 Phantasm, hoping they didn't have the popper in either the red throttle or red payload. They didn't, and I closed the game. So I think of the Phantasm ones, this one probably stays in. The other one that stays in is definitely the blue spears. As mentioned with red spears, this one's just 3 instead of 5. Being able to get go again off of a 2-card hand, going 3 into 5 even, is a 2-card 8 with 2 blues, which is pretty good. The high end with your 3 counters, it's a 2-card 11 with 2 blues. Very good. And then the first Phantasm card that gets cut, I don't even know what it's called. It's a blue block 3. That's why it was in the deck. Um, yeah, so enjoy. That's the deck. Link will be in the description as well because it's kind of hard to see some of the cards with this glare and kind of impromptu setup. Uh, was hoping to take some time to make this video, but you know what? I'd rather get it out there so people know about it than not. Um, so yeah, have fun. Uh, don't lose too many friends, and enjoy playing Fab. Thanks.